What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of On the Road with Dante Carter. I'm your host, Dante Carter, and with me today is professional wrestler Miss Airica Demia.
That's me.
And Erica, I don't think we might do this as a video, we might not. I don't know, but it's definitely going to be a podcast. So
Mhm.
we're face to face. I've never had you're the first person I've ever Zoom called with. I don't know what I'm doing.
Nice.
So, but welcome to the podcast. Um,
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
yeah, I'm happy to have you. You're also the first female on the podcast. So, a lot of firsts right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I know of you. I don't think we've never really talked. I don't think we've never really spoken, but we've been around like the same group in wrestling and trained at the
Hmm.
same academy. I think you were a year behind me or after me, I think is when you came in after I had left, um, retired, if you will. But you trained with the same people. I think you trained with um, D'Angelo.
Hmm.
You trained with TJ.
Yep.
Did you train with Brett any?
A little bit. A
A little
little
bit.
bit.
Okay, so they were all kind of around the same time I was, and even oh dang, I'm blanking on one of their names now. I feel bad, but I think he ended up leaving shortly after me anyway. So you might not have been with him. Um, Jordan maybe was his name.
Um, I know someone named Jordan, but I don't know if it's the same person.
Well, he kind of looks like a pirate, which
I
is
don't know about that.
which is cool. I told him that he was fine with it. So, but that's not important. It doesn't matter. So you have a unique you have a unique gimmick. I don't I'll be honest, I'm not a huge anime, like I don't know much about it, but
Mhm.
I know yours is from a show.
Yeah.
And can you break that down for me a little bit?
So the initial premise of my gimmick was based off of the main character from My Hero Academia. His name is Deku or Izuku Midoriya. Um, so when I first started watching the show, I was 14 years old and I was just starting my official wrestling training.
Hmm.
Well, where my dad was wrestling, I started my training there around that time. And I was skinny and I was like in a position where a whole lot of people didn't really believe that I was going to succeed, you know?
Hmm.
And this character is basically going through the same thing. He's the same age. He wants to be a hero more than anything, but he has people telling him, "Oh, maybe you should just try something else. It's not going to work out for you because in a world full of superheroes, he doesn't have a superpower."
Okay.
Um, I was not gifted with athleticism at all. uh, but I kind of just heavily related to his story and what he was going through. And me and my dad cried watching the first episode and got hooked on it. And then it just kind of worked out from there.
Yeah. I didn't know it was is it emotional or was that just like a y'all like just felt so connected to it that you kind of teared up?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had that
Um,
before.
yeah. I also, he's a huge crybaby and same. That definitely kind of brought it home because he had his superhero figure that he looked up to, and I had my dad that I wanted to be like. He's literally on my wall right here. It's a gimmick wall, but I would probably still have something up even if it wasn't.
Of course, yeah, yeah. And your dad is super cool. I actually have spoken to him a little bit. Um,
Mhm.
he's really cool. He was one of my favorites when I was at I think it wasn't my last PCW show, but the one right before that. Because he comes out, he does this whole like he is so into it. I love it. Like you see a lot of people who have different gimmicks, but it's like some people are almost shy in their gimmicks, and he's the complete opposite. Like he's in it, and he is. It doesn't even. It feels real, like super. Like it's him. That's who he is, and he plays it well, I think. And he's also, I think he's very supportive of you and letting you do what you do. And from such a young age, just following something you love. I feel like a lot of parents would tell their kid, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this, or maybe you should focus on something else. So for him to support you and encourage you in what you want to do is really awesome, I think.
Yeah, I did. I feel like I got pretty lucky with how much my parents support me because I do have a lot of friends that are like, ah, why, or their parents are like, why did you choose that? Why that? they're like, because I love it. Even my dad had something similar happen when he was younger with his parents. Like they were like, okay, when are you gonna get a real job? And I'm like, well, this can be a real job, and that's my goal. I'm gonna make it a real job. And right now, I'm doing pretty good at that. This is my only, well, other than like my Patreon and stuff like that, this is my source of income is
Yeah,
professional wrestling. And I honestly feel like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my dad. Like obviously I have my training at Palmetto Wrestling Academy, which really tightened up everything and really taught me what I really needed to know. But as far as character stuff goes, the reason I'm so unique is because my dad was like, hey, if you want to do something, you have to dive into it head first. And that's what I'm trying to do. Even though I have stage fright, my Ethan Case has helped me with that a lot. I have a sign up on my wall over there that Ethan wrote me. It says, "Get over yourself." That I look at that as often as I can when I remember it's there.
yeah,
Uh, that helps. And my dad being like, "Hey, man, if you don't do it like this, you're not gonna make it. Okay, just do it. You're
yeah.
gonna feel better if you just do it." Um, but he's always been headfirst into characters since he decided he wanted to play some flamboyant character. He's just boom, he can flip that switch, and that's kind of where I got it from. Mine's not quite as dramatic as his is, um, but I'm getting there, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to work up to that.
It was funny you mentioned Ethan because Ethan, that is, I feel like get over yourself is such an Ethan thing. Like he has this way of giving you great advice, but it's in a way that's like, is he, is he like talking shit to me or is he trying to help me? And one thing that he even so I don't do wrestling anymore, but I do comedy and do podcasting and content creating. And one thing that he said in wrestling still rings true for me is when you're on stage, when you're in your persona, you can be whoever you want to be. You don't have to be what you were known as in school. And I think that's really helped me with some of my some of the stuff that I do on stage is just I am confident when I'm on stage. And when I'm not, I'm actually a pretty shy person. So it's like it's cool to be on stage and be different and just be outgoing and special. So that's funny that you mentioned that because that is such an Ethan thing to say.
Yeah,
And I love how y'all dive into how you and your dad both y'all do your videos together. I feel like there's not a lot of people doing like people do promos in the indie scene, but you're doing something that's like completely different. And that's like storylines. Like I don't go to all the shows, but I know kind of some of the things that you have going on because you implement it into your story or into your videos, which is really cool.
I appreciate that. Like, so I had a YouTube channel. Please don't look these videos up. They're not good. Actually, you know what? Go ahead. If you want to learn the Airica Demia lore, I had a little YouTube series that me and my dad were doing when I was like 15.
Oh man.
I was not as good of an actor. They're a little bit not, I don't want to say cringe because I'm still like, yeah, we did that, but it's hard for me to watch.
Okay.
um, but we had these little skits that we were doing in 2020 because we had nothing else to do,
Right.
and they were wrestling related. But I feel like that's kind of where it started. And well, it really started with my dad and his tag partner. They would just do wacky promos when they were bored,
Yeah.
um, and it kind of just it fell into the YouTube series, and then it came out as like, oh, this is just how I do promos now. Sometimes I'll cut like a regular promo where I'm like, okay, this is how I feel, but I try to always do it in a way that looks different from other people, that'll catch somebody's eye, because everybody's like, cut a 1 minute promo, nobody's gonna watch 6 minute promos, and I'm like, you want to bet? They'll watch mine.
Right.
And I actually do get that a lot, and I am proud of that. I don't like to gloat about it, but I am very proud of it.
Yeah, no, it's good. That's a good thing. But I think like it's true because I see and there are some people who I will watch and like Drew Hood, I will always watch his promos.
He's got great
Yours,
promos.
he does, and yours is one. James, he'll post James Johnson. He'll post occasionally, but I think most of his
Mhm.
stuff is like if he's with Drew or with Selena or she goes by
Mila,
Mila. Sorry, I always
that's
forget.
okay. It's okay. But yeah, James has fantastic promos too. Mila's always improving on hers too. Um, James is another person that really helped me kind of get over my stage fright. He's like, "Hey, you're a cool person. What are you afraid of?" um, and like hanging out with people like them definitely always helps because they're people that are like whether they constantly tell you or not, they've got your back. No, pretty
Yeah.
much no matter what. But yeah, they've got very entertaining promos, especially the three of them together. They're just so funny.
They are when they're together. I love their videos. And then I saw James posted today. He was stabbing God, what's the big pink
Kirby.
yes, just stabbing. And I was like, oh my God. I don't know much about like even the Pokemon world, but I'm like, I love this. This is hilarious. But yeah, y'all stick out, and I think for you too, you have like such a bright. Your gear set is very bright. It's very eye catching because it's a lot of people have that bright gear, but I think because you have the green hair and the bright green, like it works really well. So I think that's another thing that you do that really like makes you stand out from just your average person on a card, you know?
Thank you. I try to put thought into every aspect of like whether it's the way I look, whether it's the way that I act on camera or in the ring. Like I don't have all of it down, I'll tell you that right now. But I'm doing my best to like part of my character is me, but I'm still playing a character at the same time. Like it's me amped up with some parts left out, some parts amped up even more.
Mhm.
And I try to think about like, oh, how would this character act in this situation? And I learned something recently. This is kind of off topic, but not really. Learned something recently of like, oh, if you think a character wouldn't do something, put them in a situation where they would do that, and that helps you build a character even more. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
okay, that's actually really helpful.
yeah, that's really
But yeah, I try to think of every aspect, whether it's like the way that my shoes look or the way that like the tiny, tiny details on my gear. Like I have really small details on like especially my slightly older sets. My white set was made by somebody different than my older sets. The person making my older sets was like he's been making gear for a very, very long time, but he's not able to make them anymore just
Mhm.
because he's too busy. So a friend of mine is actually making it now, and she's doing her best. She has completely overwhelmed herself.
That is funny. That's I feel like I have cool design ideas, but then as far as physically trying to make it for you, it would not be good. It would turn out terrible. Um, was your first match at Title Belt Pro? This just I just remember something, if I'm right.
Yes, it was. It was. It was the very first title belt show. That was my debut. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was there. I was there for your debut, and when you were talking about your acting, I legitimately thought like you got fucked up. I'm sorry if you don't mind me cussing, but I
You're
thought you
good.
legitimately got fucked up because you like I can't remember what happened, but you took a bump and you screamed, and I was like, oh, she's about to get like done for.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I am gonna be honest, I don't remember that match
The
very well.
the adrenaline rush really
But um to be fair, I've had like 150 something matches now. I'm not gonna remember all of them.
yeah, yeah.
But I feel like I should remember my debut though. I remember it was a scramble. I remember a few things that happened, but I don't remember like the small details. But I'm glad to know that it was like, oh, pretty decent.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
No, it was good. I always like scramble matches. I know it's hard to like. I feel like you don't really. Sometimes you can, but I feel like it's harder to implement a story when you're having a scramble match. You know, you can, but the moments don't last long because you got to move on to the next thing. But I always enjoy the matches. Letting everyone come in and get their moment to shine or whatever. And so that was really cool. And I think TJ was in that match. Was
I
Florida?
believe so.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah. I remember that show pretty decently. Um, I don't know. I used to like the title belt shows a lot, but
Mhm.
I don't
Me
know.
too. I liked those a lot.
There was a cool venue, the little stage and everything. It looked really nice.
It was, yeah. I kind of miss that place, low key. Not gonna lie.
We need them to make a comeback. Maybe this podcast will make them make a comeback, unless you know
Perhaps.
I don't. So, But so you've only been how that was 2 years ago or three?
2.5.
2.5, right in the
Yeah.
middle. And you've wrestled 150 matches since then, or 149, whatever. That is, first of all, that's insane. That's really good because that's literally at least one match a week for
Hmm.
the last 2 years. Um, and you've wrestled some pretty big names I've seen so far. And I think
You.
you were supposed to have Shotzi, right? Did something happen to that?
Yeah, so since she ended up breaking her arm, Kentucky said she absolutely cannot work here, even though she's like wrestling in other promotions. Kentucky just has a really strict what's the word, commission,
Yeah.
athletic commission. And we were like, hey, can you make an exception? They were like, no, absolutely not. Stop asking. And I was like,
Oh,
oh, that sucks.
yeah.
But I believe it is supposed to be rescheduled at some point, so it should still happen. But I ended up wrestling Nixon Newell or Tegan Knox instead, which was so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's another one. That for me, I feel like if I were in your shoes, I try to put myself in your shoes. I feel like either one of those would have been a dream opponent at you because you're still you're 21, 22.
20.
Oh, so even younger than that. Yeah, you're still very young. So to be still cutting your teeth in this industry and you've already gone against top name people, who would you say is your biggest opponent so far? Would it be Tegan or
Probably Tegan, yeah, because she's the only person I've worked that's actually been in WWE, and I feel like I won't say she's the most talented person I've wrestled. I've also wrestled like Masha, which is also amazing,
yeah,
but I feel like she knows so much and can teach me so much that she's definitely probably my biggest opponent.
yeah. And who would you say is your dream opponent?
Like for like a future match,
Yeah,
um, that's kind of a difficult question, if I'm being honest. There's a lot of people that I want to wrestle for a lot of different reasons.
mhm,
Um, Honestly, just any of the women in WWE because they're all there for a reason,
right,
and I want to be there for my own reason. And well, if I get there, I get to wrestle them. You know what I mean? Like
sure.
now, there is a girl that I would love to wrestle, and that is Maki Ito. She is fantastic. I love her so much. Haven't I don't think I've gotten to meet her. Actually, no, I met her at WrestleCade in 2023. Uh, but she's definitely a dream opponent. Um, Other than that, I can't really just anyone who's signed because
Yeah,
they'll make me better. They'll be the ones to teach me stuff, or anybody who is recently released, even because they've just learned so much more than I've gotten the opportunity to, if that makes sense.
of course, yeah, yeah. And then and this is kind of a hard question or a weird question, but if you have any championship belt that is no longer active that you wish you could bring back and hold, do you have one that comes to mind automatically?
Honestly, not really. Because I didn't really start wrestling with the goal of I want to win this championship, if that makes sense. I started with I want to be like my dad, and I didn't know that TV wrestling existed when I started. So it's I've never really thought about it like that, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
I got you. That's kind of a sweet thing though to like want to be like your dad and not even know that there's people on TV doing this is that's really touching, I feel like. That's probably touching for him too.
I don't know. I haven't really asked him about it. He kind of just pretends I don't say it. Maybe it's because it's too emotional for him. I don't know.
Smart. He's a smart man if that's the case. Because like if you're in that industry in wrestling, and I feel like it's kind of gotten away from this a little bit, which is a good thing. Everybody has to be like the tough guy. So like there's a lot of wrestlers who won't show emotions, and that's a little bit more of an old school kind of mentality. Like I said, it's starting to kind of go where wrestlers are like, no, it's okay for me to cry. Like this is something that I've busted my ass my whole life to get to. If I win a championship belt, I'm gonna shed a tear. So I like that. But yeah, he's probably like, you can only
Like
cry
he'll
so
give
many
me
times.
the small little like that's my kid thing, but other
Yeah.
than that, I don't get a whole lot.
And y'all are teaming now too. Um,
Occasionally,
yeah,
yeah.
here and there. And I said for the longest time at PCW, I wanted to see, and I think y'all have done this probably multiple times now, but I wanted to see you and your dad against James and Mia like multiple times. I've said that, and I know y'all probably have done it here and there and a little bit everywhere now. So, but
We've
I
done it a few times. Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say I think I've seen it once. I finally got to see it once, but I might be wrong. Um, at a PCW show in Camden, I think.
I don't know about PCW, but I know we had one at Phoenix Wrestling Experience. Um, I couldn't tell you when it was. I
Oh,
don't remember. My timeline is so screwed up. I could think something I did last week was something I did yesterday. Like I don't my ADHD does not that's the worst part of it. I don't know
yeah,
anything.
I got you. It might have just been like maybe y'all just had like a back and forth or like y'all got intertangled in another match. I can't remember, but I remember the first time I seen like when y'all were all like face to face or like getting involved. I was like, thank God this is finally happening because I was ready for it. I even
It
told,
might have been like a multi-man match with me and my dad in it because I know we've done that a few times.
yeah, that's what I think it might have been something like that. Um, I'm trying to remember. I don't know who it was. One of the other guys that wrestled there. I was telling them at a show one time. I said if PCW ever got tag titles, I wanted you and your dad to face James and Mila for them, and they still haven't. And I'm still lobbying for it. I need to text
Yeah,
some.
we don't have a whole lot of tag teams, unfortunately. We're getting more. We definitely have more than we used to, but still not quite enough for
Yeah,
that, if that makes sense.
right. I haven't been to a show in a while. I need to get back to a show. I think it's been months, but I just with what I do, it's kind of the same thing. Like you're just so busy that it's hard to you don't always get out to some of the shows you want to get to.
Yeah, no, I get that.
What do you think has been your biggest if you've had any, I'm sure you have. Um what do you think has been your biggest setback in this industry from your gender perspective? Like, do you think you get treated differently because you are a woman than some of the guy wrestlers or just some of the guys in the industry in general?
So I definitely feel like sometimes I get the short end of the stick when it comes to certain things, like getting put in a storyline or something like that, because people just don't always want to like put their faith in a woman for something like that because there are some women who are really good wrestlers that aren't great actors. I'm not going to name anybody, mainly because I can't think of anybody right now, but also that would be really rude of me. Um, but like I can 100% be put in a role and do what's expected of me, whether I like it or not, because I think of wrestling as a business. And I do also have situations where men kind of objectify me, like even in locker rooms and stuff. And that really sucks. I don't know if I've had any promoters objectify me or like be weird towards me, but I could be wrong. That's probably the worst thing. Also, there's like the jealousy aspect amongst um, the fact that women get booked easier than men because there's somehow a shortage of women wrestlers everywhere, even though there are women's wrestlers everywhere. I don't know how that works, to be honest with you. But it's easy for us, or easier for us to get booked and for us to get paid well for it. For some reason, I honestly have no idea why, but there is like the man, you're a woman, so you get booked, and I'm like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to say here.
You want me to turn them down?
Yeah, like you want me to tell them that you want to cross dress and pretend to be me? Like I have made that joke to some of my guy friends before. I'm like, hey, you want to borrow my gear, man? Like I don't know what you I don't know
Throw
what you want here.
throw on the green
Um,
and run out there, dog.
but I feel like that's probably the worst thing. I mean, obviously like creepy people and all of that, but I try not to let stuff like that hold me back
Yeah,
because something that my dad and Ethan always tell me is you're the only person that's going to hold you back. No matter what anybody says, they can only get to you if you let it.
yeah.
And as I've gotten older and as I've been doing this longer, I'm like, oh, that's actually true. Like what other people say doesn't matter.
Right.
Like as long as I keep doing my thing and I'm not like a terrible human being, like, it doesn't matter what they say. But
And I
what
do.
was the question?
I was just gonna say some of the gender inequalities that you feel like you faced, and I think you covered it well. You know, I think
Yeah, I feel like that's about it. I haven't really gotten any like I'm not booking you because you're a woman or anything like that. Um, yeah, I can't. I can send you a message about it later if I
okay,
think of anything and you want to like add something. I
just
don't know if that's
okay.
how that works, but
I can do that. Um, I was gonna say I do know like I was thinking like there's especially around, I don't know if you live in the same area, but South Carolina, kind of the southern states is there's a lot of especially in wrestling fans. I think that there's a lot of people who they don't like intergender wrestling. So one time, I think this was before you were wrestling, we were at a PCW show, and I can't remember who the wrestler was. It was a female wrestler. I don't think it was Mia. I might be wrong. It might have been her. Mila, excuse me. I think it might have been her, but she had a match with it was Mason Miles and her. I don't think they had a match or if they were in a like a just a scramble match or whatever. But he hit her, and there was this dude in the front row, and he got up and he started screaming. He was screaming and he was like, "Stop this! This is awful. I don't want to sit here and see a man beat up a woman." Blah 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 blah. And people were like, I feel like in a weird way, he had the best intentions, but he still was ignorant. If that makes sense, in the sense of like
yeah,
it was weird. I felt because he was definitely an older guy, and I was like, I feel bad. Like he kind of looks like a jackass, but I don't feel like he's like trying to.
meaning to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can't recall if I've run into anything like that. Oh, well, I have run into something where I was doing a cosplay show. My character couldn't talk, so I couldn't say anything, and I was so mad about it. But I was wrestling Kelsey Reagan. She was playing Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. I was the pale girl from Terrifier 2.
Nice.
And there was this guy in the front row that says, "Oh, a cat fight." And he started saying like some gross things about us.
Uh,
She didn't hear it, and I did. And I'm pretty sure I turned around and gave him like a look,
yeah,
and it made it worse, unfortunately.
yeah,
But that's probably the worst thing, other than my comments. Like to like I don't like to think about it. I react to what they say most of the time because engagement.
right,
Um, but other than that, I'm like, oh man, I really don't want to. But it really helps grow um pages when you interact with every comment. Unless it's just straight up disgusting and you're like, okay, this is going. This is
yeah,
delete. Bye.
right.
Goodbye.
That's how, because I on my on TikTok I do the comedy, and that's what I try to. Anytime people are comment, I want to interact, and it's like if they see that too, that I don't know, it's not that it's disingenuous, but when they see that it makes them more likely to follow you and kind of just keep in touch with you. So I understand that. And I have and and this is funny but kind of not funny at the same time. But I've done that before. Like I've actually scrolled through your comment section because I'm like, okay, I need to laugh today. And I know that there's always going to be somebody who says something not even like it's kind of creepy, but it's just weird. Like some of
It's
the
like,
stuff,
why would you say that?
yeah. I want to know
Yeah.
like what did they think was going to happen? Like you were going to see it, but you know what? I love this guy for this, and I'm gonna send him a message, and we're gonna get married.
Yeah, that's I sometimes I feel like that's what goes through their head and I'm like, where do you get that from?
Yeah,
Like you see all these other people commenting and I'm obviously not reacting to that. What makes you think you being like creepy is gonna do anything?
and I want to be like, I want to comment sometimes like, brother, you know these are public, right? Like these are the entire world sees this right now.
I've had a few friends do something like that before and it they literally just don't react to it and I'm like,
Yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes they're just like oblivious. It's weird,
yeah,
especially
they're like, is this person talking to me? Your name is mentioned in the
yeah,
comment, dog.
they went directly to you. And I've seen on yours like sometimes, not just seen on your page, but I've talked to some other people, and like James is always quick to have your back, like you said, and Ethan and your dad. And I think it's good that you've got those men, and I'm sure there's other, but those men who are there to kind of not protect you because you're a grown up, you can protect yourself, but to help you and just kind of keep you away from some of that, because I'm
Deal
sure
with the people that I'm like, I don't have time for this.
exactly,
Or
yeah,
like, hey, this is making me uncomfortable and I don't know what to do. It's like, I got you.
right, right.
Yeah.
But I've noticed too, like your merch line is always like packed. Like people are always there to support you. So people do, I think, genuinely love you just beyond people being creepy. Like I think that you have a likable character and a likable personality. So people do like want to support you. Um, and like I said, this is my first time actually talking to you, but I've known of you just like I said, being around the same circles, and there's just always been this like particular I guess star power to you, if that makes sense. Like like you've always just stood out, and it's like I feel like she's gonna be somebody that's going somewhere. And I've said that about TJ, I've said that about D'Angelo, and I just keep mentioning those because those are the ones that I talk to the most, those two guys. And Florida Man, and I think for him it's like the mask, and he's just so enigmatic. Like he's got this great personality to him that if you can make people laugh and make people love you and engage with you without them seeing your face is a like a hidden talent that I don't think a lot of people know about. Because
I
it's never
agree,
when they
actually.
can. Yeah, yeah. So he's always been one, and Raylan, Raylan's not as lovable, but it's because he plays this like prick so well. Because if you talk to, like, I love Raylan. If you talk to him, and I don't want to blow up his, because I know he's very big on like protecting who he is, and I love talking to. He's one of the like the funniest, like chillest people. But then when he's out there, he's like, no, I'm gonna be a dick, and he's really good at it. I'll say that.
Mhm.
And
He is
Drew is,
definitely very good at that. Yeah.
yeah. Drew and James are too, man. James is I like James better as a face, obviously. Um, but he's so good at being a dick. For the longest time, I genuinely did not like Drew Hood, and I'm sure he loved doing that. But I was like, it wasn't like I didn't like him, but I was like, when he came out, I was like, oh, like he pushes my buttons even when I know like that's the goal, that's what he's doing.
Yeah. No, I get that completely. I've known him for a long time, so it didn't get to me the same way for a while until I like was in a match with him one day and I'm like, "Oh my God, dude, you're being a dick.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
in the
yeah.
world?" But and then we get back to the back and he's just normal Drew
Back to
Hood and I'm like, "Oh my God, how do you do that?" Like I know now because I've been playing heel characters or well, I've been playing my heel character more often, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of get it. Being nice to people is fun, and then you be nice to them, or be did I say being mean to people is fun, and then you're nice to them at the merch table so they buy stuff.
yeah,
And on one hand, I don't like hurting people. I don't like being mean to people, but at the same time, when someone's being weird, I'm gonna be mean as a
yeah,
heel. Like when they come up to the merch table, they're like, "Can I get a picture?" I'm like, $10, bro.
yeah, yeah,
$10. I don't feel bad. If it's like a child or somebody with like a disability where they would like if that makes sense, I'm
yeah,
trying really hard not to be like what's the word I'm looking for here? Insensitive
mhm,
by saying that.
yeah,
But if I wouldn't charge them for it. But if it's a creepy old guy, I am absolutely charging them $10.
yeah. I might charge you 15 just to stand next to you. Something like that. That's
I this past weekend I played my heel character on Saturday, and I had so many people walk up to the table and just look, and I'm like, I'm about to start charging for them to just look, like linger at my table. Like if they're gonna walk by and glance and then walk away, that's fine. But if they come up and they're like studying everything and be like, give me $5, you're
yeah,
wasting my
taking
time.
yeah, for real. Especially if there's somebody behind them waiting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm like, you see that there's a line of people behind you, and you're not gonna buy something.
Yeah. It always gets me like if I go to a show and I'm like trying to catch up with one of the guys that I know, and I'm at their merch table talking to them, and then like a real customer comes up, I'm like, come on, get out of here. Especially if this seems like if they're not buying anything, but I understand it's the business first, so you got to make that money. Sometimes in what we do, you have to be like nice to people, even rude people. But it is good to be able to be assertive too. Like I had a guy one time after a show, he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, you're a pretty funny dude, but you said this joke, and this joke, and I don't think those are good. I think that you should leave that to the bigger comics." And I was just like, oh, so you're an asshole. And he was like, no, 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 I think you're funny, but I just think that you should work on. And I was like, no, you're being an
I
asshole.
think if you're not a comedian, you should shut up and walk out that door. Thank you for your money. Goodbye.
Yeah. And it was an impression. It was a Barack Obama impression that I did. And I did it on Dana Carvey's podcast. And I told him, I was like, well, Dana Carvey liked it, so fuck off. And that was probably something that, might have been a little too far, a little too mean, but at that point in time, I was like,
I
bro,
don't think so. I think that's, I don't tend to be mean to people because I have a, like, I want to get signed by WWE. And if I say the wrong thing to the wrong person, I'm probably screwed.
right, yeah, exactly.
But I have friends who will say something. They're like, hey, uh, no, get out of here.
Yeah.
And like, at the same time, I'm also sometimes I'll be mean to people if they really deserve it. Like I had somebody comment on the way my voice sounded in my heel promo. They were like, "She's got a nice body, but she's got to go." Or that, but that voice has got to go. And I said something mean, and it apparently made a lot of other people like me a lot. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Cool,
That's such a
that
weird thing
wasn't
to
the
say.
goal, but all right."
People like the audacity, I think, is what gets me the most. Oh shoot, when it comes to people, like what they say and how they react to wrestlers in general. But we only got a minute left here before this thing cuts me off because I'm poor and I did the cheapest version. Um, I wanted to let you plug some of your stuff really quick. Plug your stuff and send me your Patreon. I'll put it in the description for the episode.
Cool. Sounds great to me. So my YouTube channel is where you can watch all of my matches, my promos. If you want to, you can go back and watch my old YouTube series. If you want to laugh, I also have some vlogs in there from when I was training. That's Your Hero Airica Demia, spelled like that. Um, it has like 2,000-ish subscribers. I don't have a whole lot, but I'm pretty proud of my 2,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you find the right one. I don't know if there's fake YouTube channels, just so you know you found the right one.
Okay.
Um, Instagram is my Insta underscore Airica Demia. On X or Twitter, I call it Twitter still. Uh, the
It's
only thing I'll ever dead name is Twitter.
yeah.
That is Airica underscore Demia, I think. Facebook is Airica Demia. Don't get your hopes up on me accepting your friend request. I have 1,000 just sitting there, and I'm really, really sorry. um, but you can follow me and follow my journey and all of that stuff on Facebook. TikTok